Welcome to the Ecclesia number 5. Welcome, Zeusers. Hopefully you're having you're preparing for the holidays. I don't want to take too much of your time, so probably this will be a short broadcast, and then we can get ready for the holidays. I'm looking forward to it, and this is a good time to get together with your extended family and friends, and this is a good time to also talk about Zeus and the apps. So looking forward to it, and so let's get going. I think what I'll do is start with a little monologue about the state of the storage industry, and talk about some of the conversations I've been having with some of the partners that we are talking to in terms of promoting our platform forward, or increasing awareness of our platform. And then we'll talk about Chimney app. I'll show you where we are with it, and there's a few additional things that we need to do before we release it, but we are close, and so let's get going. So I want to talk about, last week, if you look at what happened, the storage, some of the storage tokens, they got, they were hit a little bit in the market, starting with Filecoin, which is essentially right now the flagship coin, because that's what everybody knows about. You have IPFS as a precursor, as a coin to pre-technology to Filecoin. So everybody knows about IPFS and Filecoin. So that has taken a hit because there hasn't been much adoption. That's primarily the main reason. But even though in the industry there was talked about that for whatever reason they are short of capital on the firm that's been unloading on Filecoins, but I don't think that's the main reason. The main reason is that there hasn't been a clear large adoption with Filecoin. I mean, they have 20,000 developers that are aware of Filecoin, but they haven't really adopted Filecoin. But we already know, archive storage can only go so far, so that's not a surprise to us. But it's affecting the storage market in general. It's generally not a good thing when one of your peer doesn't do well in the storage category, but at the end of the day, somebody has to lead it, and hopefully once we come online on Mainnet, things will start to happen in the storage industry. In terms of the other tokens, the other coins that are in the category is RV, which we know has a limitation because it's high upfront cost. So only certain things can be stored on RV. And then we have the two other protocols, SIA and Storj, where they have issues. They have their own issues. They're performant, but at the same time, the security is a suspect because they don't check whether you're outsourcing data or you're storing the data until at the end of the contract. So that's a problem. So Storj, SIA, while performant, they are not ideally secure, and in some sense it's also centralized from what I understand. I don't know completely about their protocols, but that's some of the things that is limiting their adoption. Hopefully, we will have very good adoption because of our token economics, because of our technology, and because some of the other features we offer, like private data sharing, which doesn't exist in any of the protocols. So when I talk to our customers and partners, they ask about these technologies, and I say, look, Filecoin is our archive, so you can't really use it for enterprise. RV is too expensive, and then CS Storj are not as secure, and therefore the only remaining choice is our technology, except we are not mainnet yet. Once we're mainnet, then things will start to happen. In fact, we had a very good conversation with a blockchain technology company that is involved with smart cities. And they have long-term contracts, and I asked them, okay, where do you store your data? They said, well, that's kind of centralized. It's on AWS, on their own individual cloud. I said, well, okay, there's an opportunity there. They have obviously looked at Filecoin and the other technologies out there, but there is no good solution. So they're open to trying out our solution when it comes online. So that was a very good conversation, but that's just one example of what we are, one of the customers we're dealing with and talking to them who have already have knowledge about the existing decentralized storage protocols out there. So so I talked about how we differentiate with the decentralized storage protocols, but the we can transcend that. We can go to Web2 companies and say, why aren't you storing data on Zeus? There are basically three things we ask these blockchain partners, that you should go to your clients and say, why should you store data on Zeus, right? Why should you build on Zeus? And why should you be a brand earning on Zeus? Because think of this as like the land of opportunity, like the California gold rush or the cloud transformation that happened, decades ago. This transformation takes a while, and you can build your brand. So that's how we are encouraging our blockchain partners to be a storage provider on our network, because they can build their brand, and they're so close to their developers, right? They're so close to the clients. They can help the clients transform their website, their application into using decentralized storage. Something simple, we can you can walk with website transformation. You can walk with using Blimp for backup storage. So we're saying, look, you can start with the website, make it 100% uptime, make it unstoppable using decentralized storage. Then next thing is, why don't you back up your storage on decentralized S3? We have a no-code change Blimp product that can help you enable that. So and you can store, and then we talk about how you can earn as a provider by using Chimney. So that's kind of the walk process for any of the customers or clients they want to engage with. And then down the road, they can use the SDK for transforming their app. And we have a mobile SDK, we have a JavaScript SDK that can transform their current apps. So that's how we are basically engaging with our partners. The three elements is that, why should you store on Zeus? Well, it's because of privacy. I think everybody wants privacy, but they don't have a tool. Now they have a good tool to store their data, their photos, their wedding pictures, their baby pictures, their family pictures, into a place where only they can see their data, and they can share it. They have control over that data, and they can share it to people they want to see it with our proxy re-encryption protocol, which doesn't exist today in any form. Like, for instance, when you encrypt your data, it's very hard to share that encrypted data with anybody. So we make it very easy. So that's one of the reasons. That's what separates us from the other decentralized storage platforms, right? To have private data sharing so easy for people to do. Now you can think about 8 billion people out there who share the same desire to store their pictures, their family pictures, their wedding photos, or events that they go to, private events. They want to store that picture, but they want to share it with only a specific group. So this can be extended to any platforms, whether it's Facebook, whether it's Twitter, or whether it's any of the TikTok or Instagram. You can always share something that's only for a select group of people. Now, so that's one. The privacy part is why you should store your data. The other reason for apps is to consider, why should they build on Zeus. The reason you want to build on Zeus is first of all, you want 100% uptime. Why shouldn't you, right? If you have a lot of storage servers, then you're guaranteed 100% uptime to recover that data, to be able to access that data, regardless of if one server is down or if one server is hacked. You should be able to get that data. And then the other reason is GDPR, right? So if you're in Europe, the GDPR is very important, and the fines are essentially an existential threat to your business. So if you want to avoid GDPR fines, then you let the user control, you let your customer have full control over that data, and also be able to sell that tracking of that data to the customer, because you can provide privacy reports of client data. So that's what we kind of tell our blockchain consultants to tell their clients why should they store on Zeus, and why should they build on Zeus. So that's kind of the intro on what's going on the business development front, on some of the things that happened last week. And in terms of pre-mainnet, that's pretty much going smoothly, from what I understand. I haven't kept too much in touch with what's going on, but there were some aspect of servers in the US not getting enough blocks generated, and that will sort itself out when we have a lot more servers in the US. Remember, only 50% of the miners and charters participated in the pre-mainnet, so we expect a full participation when we have another go at it. Right now, we wanna we wanna do load test, and then some DDoS tests, some chaos tests before we put the apps on the platform, and fully test it with some load tests running on the platform as well. And those are the tests that we want to do before we move on to the next phase, which is incorporating all the other miners in the active set, miners and shards in the active set. So the next step right now is to have blobbers on the active set to do the load testing. So that's what we are working on. That's something Sculptix is working on. We have a product called Chimney, and we're going to use that to enable our active set to deploy blobbers very easily. And that's something we're going to showcase today. So let's go to the... so by the way, that's the other thing I want to mention, is that the Bolt and the Atlas app are still work in progress. They're very close, but with the holidays, with some developers taking an early vacation, we have a gap, but we have other developers now covering for them. So, but inevitably, when a new developer comes in and are not as aware of the product, it takes a little time to close some of the issues. So we expect that to happen, this week. So early next week we can release Bolt and hopefully Atlas, so that you guys can play around with it. Chimney will probably take at least towards the end of the next week to be released. So let me now talk about Chimney and show Chimney. Let's see. Okay, so we'll start Chimney here. Okay, so it's a so this is the landing page of Chimney. So when let me make it a little bit bigger. Okay. So you can see the landing page. It's a high-performance decentralized storage network, and you want to store data, stake, or earn. There's some information about why you should use decentralized storage. And you want to be the first to be among the group of providers. We expect hundreds of providers during mainnet, and then there's a there's a calculator to see how much you can earn based on number of blobbers you may have on the network, how much you want to have capacity. This is the same calculator that we have on the website. So it's something that you've already seen on the website, but it's presented on the Chimney page as well. We talk about why you want to become a storage provider on Zeus network. It's essentially Uberization of storage. And we recommend that your pricing be lower, like for instance, have a zero read price and a low write price so that you make the storage attractive to users. Yeah, so that's the home page, and then there's some additional material on the white paper, documentation of forum, and frequently asked questions on the same homepage. So basically, when people, interested people land on the homepage, they have pretty much all the information. Then the next thing you start is, okay, I want to start hosting. So I create a wallet, and the way you create a wallet is, you have to log into our platform, and then we send you an OTP. In this case, Sagar has several wallets, and he's creating another wallet. Now, you can associate your wallet with the server so that you can have multiple servers running. So if you want to have a business, a storage provider business, then basically you can have multiple wallets for multiple servers. That's one way to do it, so that you're making sure that your earnings come to different wallets. Now, in this case, he has succeeded in setting, in basically logging in. And now he wants to set up a server. Now you could rent the server, and what we don't have an automated rent process yet, because that would mean that we have to work with the storage, the data center. But what we have done is that we have shown that these are the data centers. As you can see, these are the providers that we have worked with, and they provide reasonably competitive pricing on storage. We're looking out for a few more as well, and we will have more of them as we as we find them, and encourage them to lower their prices and be on our platform. The other things we want to do is basically make it automated so that we can use APIs from each of them, and so that the setting up of the server rental is even a simpler process than what it is now. In this case, you have to go to these sites. We have a link here that will allow you to go to the site and basically rent the server directly from these data centers. But even if you don't want, you can see what the spec requirements are, so that you can go to your own data center that you may know about, and talk to them. So we have kind of put, what are the prices per TB, and then the link where you can visit the provider at the bottom. As you can see, the link is at the bottom, and you can go to the provider and then be able to connect with them. And then rent that server. Once you rent the server, then you can come back to the Chimney app and be able to automate the deployment and joining of the network. Yeah, so once you're rented, you click on your, so you go back, then you click your own hardware. So basically now you're saying, okay, I've rented my server. Now I'm gonna basically deploy. Now there are two choices of deployment. We give you basically allowance to use CLI of your own, or you use our automated platform. In this case, you provide the IP address, the server username, and your email, and then it will basically set up the connection with your server, which will basically take a minute or so. And then then one of the things is that you need to add the Zeus server to list of public keys. So what that enables us to do is to drop in the code in your server. So this is the public key. What you need to do is go to the server, and you you basically enter your you basically use the terminal to access the server, enter the key. So this is something a little bit manual that you have to do, but that's something we want to give you that control because it's your server, and so that's basically what we are doing here. So configuring. So this is from the server. It's coming back. So once you deploy the code, it will give you what is the specification, right? So it'll give you the specification, this how many cores it has, what is the capacity, and what is the operating system. And then you determine, and now you determine what price should I set my server to be. This should be like write server per TB per, actually it should be per annual. It should be per 1 year, because all our contracts are 1 year contracts. So this needs to be per year. So that's a typo there. And then you set the read price. The read price, we generally recommend your read price to be low, in fact 0, in order to get rewards, block rewards. So as you know, as a Chimney operator, you earn 3 rewards. You earn storage income from the clients. You also earn validator income based on stored data that's being validated, that's stored data in other servers, but you're the validator and you're validating it. So regardless of whether you're storing data or not, you still get validator income. And then the third piece is the block rewards that network gives you if as an incentive to provide capacity and store data on the network. Now the block rewards is a function of how well how much data you're storing, and what your read price is. If your read price is 0, you're gonna get a high block reward. And if you are storing data if you're storing a lot of data, then you will get your chances of winning that reward is high. So it's a probabilistic reward way of earning rewards. Okay, so you have the write price, read price, and then you you name your storage provider. You can put your brand name here, and then and that will be basically displayed on the network. So that's your domain and provider name. Okay, so now you proceed to staking. Now you're gonna stake on the server. And so once you set the price, what you're gonna charge to your clients, you set how much you wanna stake. You could stake you may stake nothing. So there could be a 0 stake, and you just have service charge at the bottom. As you can see, the service charge is what you charge on the rewards that you get, but you share your earnings with people who want to stake on your server. So it's up to you to determine whether you want to have 100% self-stake or leave some portion of the stake for others. So that's why we say, okay, do you wish to delegate? In other words, if you don't want to delegate, then everything, it's 100% you're staking. And so it really depends on the risk-reward scenario, how much risk and you want to take, and that would determine how much reward you will have. And this is a conversation I had with with partners, that if you have let's say you have an accelerator and you have projects that are coming in and using your storage server, then you're guaranteed that your server will get a lot of usage, and so you may want to go 100%. If you don't have that kind of storage coming in, that kind of data, guaranteed data coming into your server, then you may want to go 20 to 50% of staking on your server, and then having service charge of, let's say, 20% or something like that. So you still get 20% of the reward, but you're basically playing it a little safe. So yeah, and so there are also other parameters like minimum stake. You can specify how much each delegate should contribute at a minimum, and then how many. What's the maximum stake per delegate? So let's say you want to have a decentralized stakeholders in your on your server. You could do this. You could do that. Okay. There's also, yeah, so log resource image. So this is a way for Zeus to get the log data. It's not like access to your server, it's just getting log data. If you need assistance from us, you want to checkbox that item. And this can be checkboxed at any time. So this is not something you can disable it after. So it's not something that you can always give access. So now, once it's done, what the code does is it deploys the code, it joins the network, and tells you. It takes about 2 to 3 minutes. For purpose of demo, we kind of shortened it out, and that's why you see it's deployed and registered successfully. So once it's done, it's on the network now. You can clients can use this server, and and this is your basically this is your server address, and this is your availability as your available storage and your write price and your read price. Okay, so now you're ready to make some money, and then it will show up here on the dashboard. As you can see, how much reward you've got, and so forth, right? What is your ranking and so on. Now, this data is not populated right away because you need to store data to get rewards, as I mentioned you before. And then you have these charts that talk about the reward you're getting, how much block reward you're getting, and how much you're getting from staked rewards. From income, storage income. So this will be charted accordingly. This is still a work in progress, so this is why we're not releasing it. So all of this data is coming from the backend, and that's where we haven't sorted it out yet, and that's why it's not we haven't released it. But the UI is all there. You can see the daily activity on the right hand side. You can see the earnings and so forth. So yeah, this is the ranking, and the ranking. If you go to the ranking page, you will see there are challenges, open challenges, past challenges, failed, and total challenges. Again, because there's no data on the network, on the blobber, that's why you don't see it. Then you have the monitor. You can see how much CPU you're using, and what's the memory and disk size and so forth. As you can see, disk size is 95 GB, and the memory limit is 4 GB. This is again an experiment. It's a instance, AWS instance. I think we're having this on. So, and then you get the blobber stats. So as you can see, this is the summary data. This is the public key, all the stats of the blobber in terms of what is the size, number of writes, number of reads, number of open challenges, successful challenges, failed challenges. All of the data is presented to you on this table. And there will be additional data as we have more APIs to get more data for your server. So you will have a lot of information about what your server is doing as a storage provider. Yeah, so you have read markers, you have configuration and so forth. Now, in terms of control, you can sort of control it, but we don't provide that much control. So if you go back to it, you can, oops, okay. Well, I think I messed it up. Okay, so where are we? I think we need to, let's try this. Okay, I think when you expand, that's the problem. Okay, so the ranking, yeah, so I was gonna say, as you can see, the ranking page, you can see the challenges. I think that's where we were at. And the monitor, we can monitor this usage. Yes, we went through that. We went through this, and then we gonna talk about control. So on the control front, so let's go to control. Yeah. Okay, so control, you can see, how much of the capacity you're using, and And this is something that you could change, and this is something we do provide control of it later on, but not through the dashboard. So in terms of logs, we provide logs, blobber logs, validator logs, and you can do a search as well, which is, if you want to investigate what's going on in terms of markers and things like that, you can look at the logs and be able to see it on the dashboard instead of going to the terminal and looking at it. So it's for convenience. We're presenting all of this information on the dashboard, on the Chimney dashboard. Wallets, as you can see, you can manage multiple wallets, and each of the wallets is associated with a server. And you want to have different wallets for different servers if you want to make sure that each have different, each can track different income. But it's not necessary. You could have the same wallet for each of them, especially the delegate wallet can be for multiple servers. So there is the operational wallet, which you don't see. It's the delegate wallet. So there's the operational wallet for each server, and then there's the delegate wallet, which can be the same for each server. So each server has their own unique wallet to operate on the network, but there's a delegate wallet, which is where you stake on each server and collect income. Okay, so as you can see, there's and then in wallets you can withdraw, you can buy ZCN. So this is something that you can withdraw at this. You can also buy ZCN, and then you can look at some of the activities that you have on the wallet. Again, some of the features are not presented yet or done yet, but these are the same components that Volt has that we're going to incorporate in on Chimney. And then you can have ticketed support. This is for premium users. If like for enterprise, if you want ticketed support, we will have that as well incorporated so that we can provide you support. Okay, I think that's pretty much it. So I want to go back to. Okay, so I want to go back. So I have basically demonstrated the chalk. There's still work in progress on the charts and so forth. So we hope to make that available sometime end of next week, if not week after, because everything seems to take time. A lot of developers are away on holidays, so things will proceed, but proceed not as fast as as I would like, but that's the way it is. People need family time with their loved ones during the holidays, so that's understandable. So let me go to the questions, and then feel free to ask me more questions. The first question comes from Phil, and how much data do you expect to onboard on mainnet launch? That's a good question. We were talking to some Filecoin miners, and if we get data from them, that's going to be significant, I would say, in the petabyte range. We will certainly have, expecting our capacity to be very high. Starting off the get probably around 100 to 200 blobbers, and if we get 100 to 200 blobbers each storing 100 terabytes, that's 2 petabytes, and so hopefully we'll need more blobbers. So to answer your question, we will likely have a lot of usage from the get-go, unlike some of the other platforms where they had to wait. So because there are already storage on Filecoin, on Arweave, on Storj, on Sia, I see them kind of moving their stored data onto our platform as a backup. There's something about having, it doesn't mean we're taking business away from from the other providers. It just means that people want to have additional backup. So I don't think it's a bad thing to have two backups. Most of the enterprise in the industry have kind of a 1, 2, 3 architecture. In other words, you have a primary storage and you have a secondary storage that's high performance, which will be us, and then you have a third tertiary storage that's can be archive. And some people even have like a fourth storage, which is offline grid. So I don't expect. I think there's a place for, again, as I mentioned, there's a place for RV, there's a place for Filecoin, and there's a place for SIA and Storj as well. I mean, it's just that we're in the high performance category. We're in the bulk of the storage category. If you look at AWS, Azure, and Google, that's what we are after. That's a much bigger market. That's like a $50 billion market on just storage. Okay, so second question from Double Dutch. Do you have some new insight about pegging a stable coin to decentralized storage tokens? I don't know the value of us doing it. It'll be something, and this is something we can consider down the road. But if we have a well-functioning economy, then and you have a way to understand how the economy will work, and we have the data on Atlas actually, where you can clearly see the price related to how much data is stored on the network. Then I don't know if it's necessary to do it. We also have on the blobbers, we have a way to basically continuously update their price based on where the ZCN price is, so that they can properly set the price automatically, so they don't have to worry about it. It's done automatically through code. So I don't know if there's a big need for that, especially right out of the gate. Maybe there will be a need, 1 year into it, maybe when we are a well-functioning economy. And but at that time, you will know what the trend is, what the ZCN price would be based on how much data is stored on the network. All right. So Phil, second question is, what is your response to the centralized nature of our active set right now? Why, with most of the miners in a centralized radius? Yeah, I think you're talking about some of these servers that on pre-mainnet. That is a big concern. It's not it's something that we are working on, and we will have a solution for it. In days to come. There is one service that is managed service, and the point of the managed service is to make it easy for for some of the active set members to be part of the active set. It's not for centralization. The servers are actually decentralized. If you look at them, they're actually in different data centers. But the key is with one entity, and that's a bit of a concern. But there are ways to remove that concern. So we'll sort that out in the days to come. Okay, so Double Dutch again. The whole Zeus destorage concept with all this functionality is so clever and mind-blowing. Big compliment. Oh, thank you so much. That's a nice thing to say. That's what I say to everybody, that we have the best storage platform. It's not just decentralized, it's not just cryptocurrency, it is the best storage platform. And it's good for small business, it's good for Uberization of cloud and small business economy in the whole world. It's such a big thing, and it's growing, and it's growing at a pretty fast clip. If you look at Uber and Airbnb, they're not gonna grow at a fast clip because there's only so many people out there. But data, on the other hand, is growing very fast because there is video, there's high resolution. There's always new devices that even give you higher resolution. Bandwidth is also increasing. So I think the data explosion is going to continue for the next decade or more. All right. So question. Okay, I think that's okay. Question from Crypt Zero: Can we generate our wallet using Ledger Nano X? Um, I don't know. I haven't tried. Uh, I mean, you can generate a wallet, and then I've always used Ledger with the wallet already generated. So I don't know if you could do that, but I'm guessing you could. I mean, it's not. I mean, certainly with ZC and ERC, you could do whatever you can do today with the regular token. We're not changing that. All we're doing is we're basically saying you can keep the ZC and ERC, and it will operate with Ethereum wallet, any Ethereum wallets, whether it's Ledger, MetaMask, MyEther wallet, and then be able to bridge to our chain and use it for staking and buying storage and staking as a storage server. So I don't think we are limiting the usage of Ledger Nano. Yeah, so I think that's all the questions we have. Thank you very much for joining this AMA. I hope you have a great weekend. Merry Christmas, happy holidays, and I hope to see you again next week when we present a few more updated information. Maybe we'll present another app. Most likely, we'll present another app next week, and then we will see if we can release one of the apps this week and then next week. So we'll try to release a couple of apps before next week's AMA. All right, till then, thank you for joining us, and happy holidays. Take care. Bye bye.